Hello, welcome back to Pump with Purpose. So I'm here to talk about when to drop your middle of the night pump. So I get this question so many times about when to drop. And I want to just give you some considerations, the framework that we use to assist our clients. So if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Diana, the CEO and founder of Pump with Purpose. We are a global lactation and postpartum private practice teaching women all across the world to breast pump through personalized care to help you to increase your milk supply with the right pump, flange, products, and schedule, and to change the world one pumping family at a time. So I think it's so important. If you don't know about us, you can find us on our website, www.pumpwithpurpose.com, or our biggest platform is Instagram. We are there. So if you don't know, you can find us on Instagram at Pump with Purpose. So let's talk about some considerations that I use with our clients in order to go through when to consider dropping the middle of the night pump. So it's going to be based on three things, okay? I love frameworks. I love just simplifying everything and not taking a guess at what's going on. And those three components are your milk supply per day in a 24-hour period, your baby's intake within a 24-hour period, and your goals. So if you don't know, we have the 240-minute rule, which means we define it as if you are exclusively pumping every 3 hours for 30 minutes for the first 12 weeks with the right pump, flange, products, and schedule. So within that framework is what we set out to teach people about pumping. So the first 12 weeks are let's break it down by each time. So you have the baby, your milk supply begins the transition process. So in the first 24 to 72 hours, your milk supply will start the lactogenesis process, which will change from colostrum, which you have about 16 to 20 weeks postpartum, to from colostrum to transitional milk, and then from transitional milk to mature milk. And that process can take up to, on average 5 to 10 days. We really like to see it in that, 3 to 7 day mark, where you really have your mature milk, which is like your white milk, has fully transitioned in. So after the 10-day mark, per research, your milk supply establishes around 40 days. Does not mean that after 40 days you still can't make changes, but then the regulation process, where it moves from the hormonal, from the placenta leaving your body to supply and demand, can take up to 12 weeks, 10 to 14 weeks on average. What it means at that moment is just that you stop having so many hormonal fluctuations from the placenta leaving, and then you should have more consistency in the amount of milk you make per day. Consistency means within a 24-hour period, on average, your milk supply doesn't fluctuate. So within like 5 ounces, there's no way anyone makes the same amount of milk every single day their whole journey, but within a 5-ounce wiggle room. So for me, at my height, I made between 50 and 55 ounces a day on my second journey, 40 to 45 ounces on my first journey within my height. So my milk supply regulated out at 40 to 45 on the first, 50 to 55 on the second. So after that, you have your regulation, and then until you start dropping pumps, which we recommend doing so at the 12-week mark. Why you say that? How do I know? So in my first journey, I didn't know some of the things that I should have known. So I dropped my middle of the night pump, which we define under the 240-minute rule as 1A, 2A, or 3A, depending on which schedule you're on. If you're on a 4 a.m. every 3 hours, a 5 a.m. and then every 3 hours, or 6 a.m. and every 3 hours, your overnight pump would be between 1, 2, and 3. So I dropped that pump. I was on the 4 a.m. schedule, so I pumped 4, 7, 10, 1, 4, 7, 10, and 1. So I dropped my middle of the night pump at 8 weeks, and I capped out at 40 to 45, and I was able to save up to 3,000 ounces to get my first son from 9 to 12 months when I got pregnant with my second son planned, and I knew I wanted to get pregnant, so that's why I worked to create that oversupply for me, and he was able to be on breast milk for the remainder, even though I stopped lactating at 9 months. Around 9 months. So either way, I stopped that journey a little bit earlier because the first journey I didn't know any better, so I dropped that pump at 8 weeks postpartum. Is my biggest regret from my first journey, because it took me 6 weeks to catch up to him, and then I stopped and dropped the middle of the night pump around 8 weeks. So knowing that I shouldn't have done that, the second journey, I went the full 12 weeks pumping through the night every 3 hours for the first 12 weeks for 30 minutes. And I capped out at 50 to 55 ounces per day. And yes, I was feeding my infant and my toddler. I had different goals on my second journey. I wanted to go as long as possible. So I kept that middle of the night pump. I fed my infant and my toddler. My toddler got any overage. And then I saved about a bag or two, of 5 ounces, so 5 to 10 ounces I would save per day when I could. I didn't create a big freezer stash because I wanted to give to my first son, because of course there was that guilt of ending the journey before, but I wanted to have them close together, so compromise there. But I knew I was gonna lactate again, and so I just fed him the whole 3 years, both children, right? So my second journey, I capped out at 50 to 55 ounces. So you may say, like, I created more milk. Yeah, I could have created more milk because I had another baby, and per research, every baby, there's a chance to make more milk, barring any underlying conditions or anything happening at birth. Or it could have been like I stayed and did the full 12 weeks. Like, I don't know, but either way, it's what I believe in. So as far as the first 12 weeks, that's what we recommend doing. Pumping every 3 hours for 30 minutes for the first 12 weeks. But then people are like, well, what do I do after 12 weeks? And then we want to go through a new schedule change, make sure, again, your tools are correct. You don't have any updates. We love working with you prenatally and then within the first 1 to 2 weeks after birth. But then the next big stage is around the 12-week mark. So some of the considerations, the three, is your milk supply, your baby's intake, and what your goals are. So let's take the first two. So your milk supply, what is it? What is the number? Okay, it's a mathematical equation. Minus your baby's intake in that same 24-hour period equals something. Is it over? Is it the exact same? Or is it not enough, right? So if you're not enough, well, you probably don't want to drop that middle of the night pump. You probably want to meet with a lactation professional. We're here to assist you when it comes to pumping, to make sure that you can get your milk supply up. If you're just enough, you're running neck and neck. So the chances of you dropping a pump and your milk supply may go down is there, right? Our ideal goal is for you to be somewhat over baby, so when you drop that middle of the night pump, if your supply goes down, because there are three possibilities, it will either go up, stay the same, or go down for your milk supply if you drop any pump. So you won't know until you do. There's no one that can tell you you're going to keep the same amount, you're going to increase, you're going to decrease. I see it all the time, and there's no trend that I can find in my client base that I can tell what's going to happen. Of course, the more milk someone makes, even if they lose 5 ounces, on average, I like for a client not to lose more than 5 ounces with every drop pump. That's what I never lost more than 5 ounces as I drop. I rarely have clients unless something else is going on. But I like to be a part of that process. But I want to see you to be something above baby that you are comfortable with dropping a pump. And if your supply goes down, you're not going to be, kind of having an episode or having a moment, right? So does that mean trying to get your supply up first? So then even if you drop, you're not near running neck and neck or under baby. So again, like I said, in my opinion of my clients, so that are working with me, that I know have the right pump phage products and schedule for their body, I don't see a big drop. I see no more than 5 ounces. Usually some of them even gain. Some stay the same. Some stay the same the entire time. I've had clients that's like making 80 ounces of milk per day. That's their body. I don't go to telling people what they need to do with it, and then they drop 4 pumps per day and they still making 80 ounces a day. And so some of them are happy, some of them are not. They're like, I thought I was supposed to lose some milk. No one has a crystal ball to be able to tell you. So that's why we want to make sure that equation of your milk supply within 24 hours versus your baby intake within 24 hours, you subtract your baby's intake from your milk supply, and is it over, under, or just enough? Then from there, if you are over, how much over? Are you going to be comfortable if you lose something? If you're not, maybe you don't want to drop that pump yet. Maybe you want to get your supply up before you drop the pump. And that's what we would be working through together in a consult to kind of figure out, can we tweak your tools again, or tweak your tools in general to make sure that you can gain some, and then before you drop. Then the last part of it is where your goals are. So what I mean by that is, how long do you want to breastfeed? Do you want to breastfeed for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, right? My second journey, I wanted 2 years. Then I went a whole nother year just because people kept telling me it's not possible. So I was like, we'll just go another year. I had already started my practice by then. I started it because of my weaning journey and I wasn't ready. So it just helped me to, really show people that like, yeah, you can exclusively pump for over 3 years and feed 2 babies. But you have to do some things at the beginning to make sure that you keep your milk supply up. I wasn't rushing to drop pumps, even though now on the back end of it, I definitely could have, stayed with pumps a lot longer and didn't drop. After the 12-week mark, I dropped that and went to 7, but I could have, went shorter, but I went back to work. And did some things that, I still made enough milk for over 3 years, or made milk. I didn't make enough the entire time. Like I think around, after 18 months, it didn't matter to me because my my youngest had to go to, couldn't bring breast milk to school to daycare any longer. So by that time I was already, just putting it in the fridge for the pitcher method, and then I would give them both milk when they got home. So my stress level of providing milk at daycare went completely away. So I wasn't tracking as much. By that time I was definitely down to 4 pumps per day. Well, before I went to about 4 pumps between. Don't do what I did though. But I try not to say too much because then people try to just do what I do, and then like, you don't have my body. What I do is not you. But by the 18-month mark, I was at about 4 pumps per day, and I was aligning it with my kids' nap schedule. And then eventually I went to 3 or 4, depending on, did the youngest go and combine his 2 naps to 1 nap. So again, and even if he didn't, like weekends, I definitely know I did more later on after the 2-year mark, did more 3 than 4, maybe because it was a little bit difficult on the weekend versus during the week he was at daycare. So just want to encourage you to get a plan, figure out what you want to do. But the biggest thing on when to drop the middle of the night pump is the equation on what is your milk supply minus in a 24-hour period. What is your baby's intake in a 24-hour period, and that equal what is on that other side? Is it positive, and are you comfortable if you lose some amount of milk? Is it equal 0, like you may not want to drop it until you get your milk supply up, or is it a negative number and and you're supplementing in some way, and we really need to help you to figure out how to get your milk supply up before you drop a pump. Do you need to drop it for your, because you want to, because you need to, but just figuring out if you're in a deficit and don't want to create a potential for a bigger deficit. We definitely want to talk. We want to talk no matter where you are, because every stage, over, just enough, or under, has different characteristics. It has different involvement that you may, just want and need some time to personalize expert quality care lactation support. So we are here to assist you, but we wanted to give you an idea of when to think about the possibility of dropping your middle of the night pump. So I hope this information was helpful. Like I said, we are here. You can book a consult to work with us, pumpwithpurpose.com, or you can follow along on our Instagram page to learn a little bit more about us, date us for a little bit. Not too long though, because I tell people all the time, lactation is not like a pair of shoes where you pick the wrong size and you're like, oh, I need another pair. It's going to be here from Amazon in 2 days. No, it can take time. So you definitely want to get in. We are here to assist you. Please send us fill out the contact form on our website. We have some freebies on our website to just learn more about pumping. You can send us a DM on Instagram, but we are just here to assist you. Or you can comment below this post, and we will send you the booking information to work with us. Pumpwithpurpose.com. Again, until next time with Pump with Purpose,